correspondent there. Well, from the politics of Westminster, if I could put it like that, to the launch of a new group aiming to promote the idea that not everyone at university is left-wing and hoping to inform and educate students on conservative ideas. It's called Turning Point. It's got the backing of Jacob Rees-Mogg and Nigel Farage. It's an offshoot of a US organisation which has a presence of more than 1,000 campuses across the state. Turning Point USA insists it's inclusive, but there have been some accusations of it having links to white supremacists, of not doing enough to stamp out racism and sexism within the organisation, and of using some sinister tactics to name and shame academics who promote left-wing ideas. Well, how's it turning out here in the UK? I can talk now to Dominique Samuels, a student at York University and someone who works within Turning Point UK. Dominique, what was your role for Turning Point?
I'm one of their influencers currently.
What is an influencer?
Just basically promoting the ideas that Turning Point UK encourages, which is the free market, personal responsibility, free enterprise, and just really the message that having conservative thoughts isn't something that should be characterised as bad, which, it is on university campuses and amongst young people.
Is that why you got involved? Did you feel that as a Conservative at uni in the UK, you needed to join an organisation that made you feel less ostracised?
Not necessarily. I mean, I've not always thought conservatively or identified myself as a Conservative, and when I went to university I got more involved in the York Conservative Society. And, we did face a lot of backlash there just for being Tories. And it just really made me think we should be a bit more proud of the way we think. And I've come across Turning Point in the USA, and I was really inspired by what it was that they were doing. So when I heard that there was a branch going to be launched in the UK, I thought it'd be something good to get involved in.
You are a black woman. I say that because you're on the radio, so people can't see you. That's not something I just need to say generally, but I have to because of the next question, if you like. The Turning Point's former national field director left after sending a text which said, "I hate black people, I hate blacks, end of story." Did that not put you off?
No, to be quite honest, it's not going to put me off. Being a Conservative, I'm of the strong belief that you can hold conservative views no matter what your colour, no matter what your race, no matter where you come from. The fact that some people are ignorant and have some racist views isn't going to stop me from thinking the way I think. And I think this is really important because a lot of people are put off by admitting they're Conservative because of some of the attitudes of people on the right. And I think one of the messages that, for example, Candace Owens espouses where this is...
I have to say who that is. She's the communications director, is that right, for Turning Point USA?
Yeah, one of the messages that she espouses is, you shouldn't be confined to one way of thinking just because of your race. There are instances...
She also did say, though, that Black Lives Matter protesters, I quote, are a bunch of whiny toddlers and that climate change is a lie used to extract dollars from America and that Me Too was founded on the idea that women are stupid, weak and inconsequential. To go back to the Black Lives Matter one, that's not necessarily free thinking, is it?
Well, I don't agree with everything Candace Owens says, so just making that clear. I agree with a lot of the stuff she says in reference to the Democratic Party and some of the hypocrisy on the left when it comes to racism. Black Lives Matter, whilst the central message I would say is a good one, some of the actions of Black Lives Matter where the movement is concerned has been at times racist and has been at times violent. So I can kind of understand why it is so controversial and why some people might not see it as a good thing.
I suppose my question then for you is why get involved here in the UK with an organisation that has had some questions above it, some question marks above it? Because, of course, what you're saying could fit in lots of ways into the Conservative Party, as it was for you.
Well, not really, because a lot of people my age especially feel as though the Conservative Party isn't really conservative. It's focusing way more... Yeah, it's focusing way more on things that don't actually matter. I mean, the tax burden is at a 50-year high. Corporation tax is at around, I think, 18% for 2020. And things like that are not really things that those on the Conservative side would see as a good thing. Also, for example, I think the government were thinking about putting a tax on red meat, which, isn't something that people that hold conservative ideas really see as conservative.
So this is interesting. Young people in the UK are finding the Conservative Party not conservative enough.
Well, young conservatives, not,
Yeah, sorry.
I wouldn't generalise.
Of course, but young people with your mindset.
Yeah.
And therefore, what does Turning Point offer you?
Well, Turning Point offers the opportunity for young people to get involved in something that's a bit more fresh, a bit more exciting, and something that appeals more to young people in general. I mean, with the launch of Turning Point UK, we have way more followers than the official Young Conservative page, and we had way more followers in a matter of like 5 days, which does demonstrate that there is something lacking from the Conservative Party message in reference to young people and conservative values.
How are you funded?
Well, we're currently fully UK funded. We do respect the privacy of our donors because of, we've seen already some of the reaction from the left, and they're obviously going to be hounded. I mean, I've been hounded personally as well. But the idea...
You've been hounded by whom?
Just people online.
Okay.
Calling me numerous names, calling me an Uncle Tom, I'm vile. And even, there's this accusation that we're far right, alt-right. Well, I've been told that, this movement won't work because people like me need to be deported.
Do you know who's funding you, though? I recognise you can have privacy for it, but you know why I'm asking that? I'm asking that because there's been questions about who's been funding it in the US.
There's no US funding currently. And there will be very soon a donations page on our website which allows people to donate publicly. It's not some dark, sinister force that's coming from the US.
That's absolutely fine. I'm giving the opportunity to answer. Do you know do you actually know? Because sometimes you might not know as an influencer.
Yes, we do know, but, it's not something I'm going to share.
There is this watch list, isn't there? Professor watch list in the US.
Yeah.
Of course, you've taken your lead from the US. This is where this organisation's come from. Are you going to do the same here?
No, I think what's really important to get across is the fact that Turning Point UK is completely independent from the US in terms of our message, in terms of the things we do. So not everything that Turning Point USA do is going to be necessarily what Turning Point UK do. We are independent from Turning Point USA.
Out of interest, do you think that's a good thing to do? To have a watch list of professors that you out for having left-wing views and being against right-wing views?
Well, I'm not sure if outing them would be the best route to take, but I think...
it's quite anti-liberal, really, isn't it?
Well, you could interpret, it as that, but I think what's the message that's important is to say, I was in the USA for a while, I studied there for like 3 months, and I was aware of an extreme teacher bias when it comes to conservative views. I mean, I'm viewed within my university as kind of like a liberal conservative. And when I went there, I was kind of looked at like a monster simply for asking questions. And one of the main things that a lot of my teachers did whilst I was in the US was project their views on students. And when I would ask questions, they seemed to get angry and upset about those questions and about people having different views. So from someone that's seen it personally, I can understand why this is seen as such a big issue on campuses in the US.
Well, thank you for giving us an insight. I look forward to hearing more about Turning Point here in the UK as it establishes its identity. Come back and talk to us again.
I will, thank you.
Dominique Samuels there, a student now at York and an influencer for Turning Point UK. We'll find out more about it as we go. It's 11:32, let's get the latest news.